The following is a presentation of The Day.
Sometimes, during the climb, the final steps are the toughest. Waterford High School has spent the last 2 years proving they belong on the turf with the league's best, East Lyme. They have done just that, creating a rivalry with exciting games and close scores. The only thing they have not done is actually beat East Lyme. The scores, 11-9, 10-7, 11-9, and yes, 11-9, before a riveting 13-12 Viking win in last year's ECC final. Coach Gary White's senior-laden squad, led by the rocket-firing James McCoy, does not want to be the group to break this streak. Waterford is undefeated and full of confidence. New coach Scott Hicks loves the Lancers' energy, and reigning Conference Player of the Year Caleb Holdridge believes his Lancers have what it takes to finally bring down the Vikings. Can the Lancers finish the climb, or will the Vikings continue to prove to be too tall a task? We find out with an ECC lacrosse showdown on Game Day, live on theday.com. As the sun sets on a beautiful spring day, the Beasts come out to play. It's a boys lacrosse showdown between the Beasts of the ECC, the East Lyme Vikings, and the Waterford Lancers, and you've got it live on Game Day. Casey O'Neill and I will be joined shortly by my partner Ray Lafort, the coach, and as always, the sports doctor lurks on the sidelines here for this big ECC showdown between the two-time defending champions in this rivalry that we have, East Lyme. 5 straight victories over Waterford by a total of less than 10 goals. A completely competitive matchup that has seen Waterford trying to slay the dragon, as they have been saying recently. And Sports Doctor, they are hyped down there. What are you thinking about Waterford being able to slay the dragon tonight?
Hey, Casey, they're a very confident bunch coming off that win on Saturday against Notre Dame. They feel like this is their time. We talked about winning to be in the process. If you got to lose before you can win, well, they've certainly lost to East Lyme enough in the last few years to figure out how to win. And as for the Vikings, boy, what can you say about this program, Casey? Locked and loaded again this year. Big-time game here at East Lyme High School.
Well, that topic of how to overcome adversity and loss is certainly present tonight, as tonight's game is Lax2Live, the Brian Dagle Foundation for education about teen suicide. It's an important topic, and earlier this week, our own Peter Wappy went and talked with East Lyme about the Brian Dagle Foundation.
A few years back, the Dagel family wanted to, they had a tragedy in their lives. Their son committed suicide, and they wanted to try to bring something positive and to have an influence so tragedies like this wouldn't happen again. And so Ann and Paul reached out to me. They created the Brian Dagle Foundation, and one of the pieces they've been doing for the past few years is this Lax2Live game, where, again, it's getting some lacrosse players. Brian was a former Lax player for me, and so we want to try to make this a positive thing, to have a positive influence on people. Now, Devin. The foundation and Paul are trying to bring attention to this idea of depression, and it's a stigma. It's been a stigma out there for years, and if we can just talk about it and just get people talking if they're feeling down or something's going wrong in their life, if we just bring some attention, maybe we can help them and give them some support.
Draw, gotta go!
I think it's good for athletes. Athletes often they're told to hide their emotions and keep it back. So I think it's great for them to play for that cause and understand that you can talk to somebody about it.
We're so close to each other, and especially with a foundation like the Dagel Foundation, it really works on us just knowing that we always have each other's back, and anytime there's a hardship in our life, we can always talk to each other about it.
But it's just such an important issue, especially with teens. It's something that they don't feel comfortable talking about, but we're a brotherhood out here, and if we can start spreading the word and make it more comfortable to kind of talk about depression and things like that, hopefully we can make a difference.
1, 2, 3, 2. Okay, step down.
We are moments away from the start of East Lyme and Waterford, but this is, of course, the Lax2Live game in honor of the Brian Dagle Foundation, the visiting Waterford High School Lancers, and the home East Lyme Vikings, and I am joined by Ray Lafort, the coach.
who is here tonight to provide our expert commentary, despite the fact that he's showing a questionable judgment with a Mets hat on. So, I mean, how can I trust anything that comes out of your mouth if you're wearing a Mets hat?
I'm just sticking to my roots.
You know, the colors are good, though. The colors are good. Anything that stays close to the home to the Coast Guard colors is a good call by you. So we were talking a little bit earlier. This is the Lax2Live, important. The Brian Dagle Foundation, teen suicide, educating people about that, something that impacted East Lyme. But it seems like that message is something that affects both teams when they talk about how athletes don't often get the opportunity to talk about their mental health and their feelings because they're athletes. They're not supposed to talk about it. And it was really refreshing to hear these kids talk about how their teammates have their back and how sports provides an avenue for them to talk about their feelings, which is something that regular kids sometimes don't get.
Well, you're an athlete and you're tough, so it doesn't affect you.
Right.
Well, but we know it does.
As they do the starting lineups, we're going to take it down to the sports doctor on the sidelines. He has tonight's keys to today's ballgame.
AC, sure thing. For Waterford, how about we go with a fast start? On the road, it's important to get off to a quick start and set an early tone versus this East Lyme team. How about the little things? The little things make big things happen. Winning face-off, ground balls, and limit penalties. Lancers can't hurt themselves in order to win this game tonight. And last but not least, how about finish? The last 2 years, the Lancers have not been able to close out the Vikings down the stretch. Stay focused for 4 quarters. Make plays down the stretch. And for East Lyme, be physical. Establish a physical tone with the Lancers and take them out of their comfort zone. Protect the net. Find a way to keep the Waterford front line out of point-blank scoring range. And last but not least, do your thing. Vikings are defending league champs. Play your best game and make the Lancers earn tonight's victory.
Yeah, those are good keys, Sports Doctor. You know, reviewing this game, Waterford has been for 2 years close in all of these. And last year, I think we saw in the championship game, the closest of all, that 1-goal game, 13-12 East Lyme. But 11-9 3 times, 10-7, 13-12. What does Waterford have to do today to sort of slay that dragon?
Well, don't they have to just treat it as another game? Seems like maybe they haven't treated it as just another game, and the thing gets to be bigger than it really is. I would just look at it like they've been close. They've been there. I would think that the kids have the confidence to compete. I know I work with the Waterford team in the indoor league and at Wide World Indoor Sports, and when these two teams got together twice this winter, it might have only been 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning, but it was quite competitive.
Well, one of the players to watch today, of course, is the great Caleb Holdridge, and we'll have a feature on him shortly, but for now, our national anthem. Kickoff, and Coach, we saw over the last couple of years these games very physical. A lot of good athletes out there. We talked over the past couple of years about the improving lacrosse talents that we see here in this conference, and both of these teams have stepped out of conference early in the season and had some success. East Lyme's losses have all been out of conference losses, but what do you see from the league this year in terms of the overall talent and play of the ECC compared with that across the state?
Well, first and foremost, the players are having an opportunity to play more lacrosse just with the indoor facility up in Montville. So though that was loaded up, I think there were 14 teams. So a couple of the schools had an A and a B team. A couple of schools had over 30 kids participating. So no matter how you slice it, the more kids with a stick in their hand, the more opportunities they have to hone their game and the more interest they have to develop in their town. East Lyme still is at the forefront. I think they had 2 teams and they had a whole bunch of kids who could throw and catch really well. I think Waterford had about 24, 25 kids on one team, and it was a nice showing. So compared to the rest of the state, that western side of the state is so mature with full-fledged freshman programs with 40 kids, JV programs with 35 kids, and a varsity team with 35. So I don't know that the population on this side of the state can be compared to that, and that just becomes very dense. I think that the high-end teams here on this side of the state are still putting out a really good product. There's just not as many kids as the western side of the state, and that's just, I guess, the end of that story.
Well, we will see some supreme talent here tonight, of course, led by some college lacrosse players heading off. We, of course, have James McCoy, who I feel like he's been here for years, and Caleb Holdridge, the senior, who I believe is going to a place that you're familiar with.
Oh, we are ecstatic to have Caleb with us at Coast Guard. He's just a tremendous addition. We're getting a first-rate student athlete, and to the core, a good kid. So we are looking forward to making him a great addition to what we're doing at the academy.
He has been very exciting to watch over the past couple of years. A lot of firepower, great feature on him on game day regarding his unselfishness, not just a scorer, but a great teammate. He had to acclimate himself to new surroundings, in his high school, and he seems to fit in seamlessly. I think the best is yet to come. You got a gem there at the Coast Guard Academy.
Well, it's not often that you get a kid with a combination of speed, skill, and then all of a sudden he's a tremendous student too, and he wants engineering. So he hit a bunch of the spots that he was looking for, and I think it's going to be a great match.
Yeah, and of course, if you're going to be at the Coast Guard Academy, you have to have character. That's one of the great things. Those kids are different. Spending a little bit of time with the Coast Guard kids, they're not like all other college athletes. There is a level of commitment and service that they have, and so that means the kid's character is top notch as well. So he's really ringing all the bells.
Waterford just moved the ball real successfully with a lot of kids touching the ball in the clear. Something that in the last couple of years in this game that has been a toe stub in terms of making turnovers early. So that was actually very smooth.
Jacobson on a nice little run here in the early going. Gets up inside of Brodeur, but a nice job by Brodeur staying tall in the goal.
So East Lyme opens up the night in man defense. A year ago, they sort of slowed Waterford down quite a bit with the zone, and a really nice feed right there from Holdridge.
Beautiful pass inside. Holdridge gets it in. Jacobson. They're going to have a lot of people touching the ball tonight, and right there, that pass seemed to be almost too easy. It was well timed and right in front of the net. Nothing that Brodeur could do with that.
Well, Caleb sort of presents the dynamic of the great dribble drive guy in hoops, that if you get too close, he can go by you, and if you sag off, he can shoot. So that's a tough mark for whoever has them by themselves tonight, just because of the foot speed.
Yeah, and he made that comment where it sounded a lot like a point guard. He said, his job is to read whether or not they're going to slide over, and if they do, then he's got a dish, and if not, he's got to be able to take his man, and it provides such a challenge defensively. Back-to-back face-off wins here for the Vikings, and they're going to attack. All times, got to know where 17 is. That's McCoy. He of the 100-mile-an-hour zipped shot. Now we see Alec Kaczynski, a name familiar to game day, soccer star here on the lacrosse field.
Well, James has had one touch so far, and that was a heck of a nice feed.
And there's Jakubczyk with the goal. Alex Jakubczyk right in front, and we've seen both teams effectively pass the ball early here and have good looks in front.
A very nice feed across as the Waterford defense is extending out on James McCoy, and the feed just went right behind the extension and a very big space. I wonder how far out Waterford's going to extend on number 17 tonight. That to me is a little bit, if you go too far, it produces a lot of seams, and East Lyme just hit one of them.
Got the battle of 16s in the face-off, Harrison Searle and Scotty Galbo. What's interesting is that the great players, and we mentioned both McCoy and Holdridge, the great players, the impact they can have without having the ball. You mentioned the space right there that McCoy creates because they're out on him. Same thing with Holdridge. Every time he touches the ball, he requires so much attention that other players are able to get into space that they might not otherwise have.
Well, a couple of years ago, I read an article in Sports Illustrated about LeBron James and gravity. They called it gravity, and how just his presence opens up spaces for other people to do things that they don't normally get a chance to do. So both these teams have that player on offense.
Oh, beautiful shot and goal from Mason Lafort. Out of nowhere, drove with the body, spun in a spinning, beautiful backhand shot. He beats Brodeur, 2-1 Lancers.
I've seen that move in my backyard quite a bit over the years. There's many a tree with less bark on it because of it.
Well, he's been, coming up through the ranks. The Lafort boys have made their impact on Waterford lacrosse, and that shot was beautiful. He got that low, and Brodeur never really saw it coming.
A year ago, when Brodeur got hot, that was a real turning point in the game. And he's the goalie that has shown that he could do that. So if they can keep pushing the shots wider, Brodeur has a chance to get hot again.
Oh, nice look inside. They were trying to find Swenson. And a good steal by the Lancers. And heading out of the pack is Lillis. Lillis will carry. The long stick. Gets it to Holdridge. Holdridge on a run. And what an angle and shot and goal. Caleb Holdridge went top shelf over the top of Brodeur from an impossible angle.
Joe Lillis got the ball to Caleb Holdridge really wide outside of the restraining box, which gave Caleb a lot of space to use his foot speed. And he didn't really beat anybody until about 3 feet away from the goal, but then he tucks it back in left-handed. Another quality clear by Waterford with the long sticks. They've shown 2 tonight already.
I like the creativity or the vision that Holdridge has. I don't know that a lot of players would be comfortable going where he went with that shot. There's a kind of a fine line between making that shot and sending it wide. But if you can have the accuracy that he has with that, good luck.
So the call must have been a loose ball push on East Lyme off of the ground ball, sending the possession back to Waterford. So now Waterford's they've won the last 2 face-offs after losing the first 2.
Lafort will have it weak side. Up top to Jacobson. And very patient now are the Lancers with a 3-1 lead, with 8 minutes remaining in the first period. Now the playmaker, Holdridge. Reverses his inside and look. Nice job, Brodeur stepped in front. And Brodeur will look to clear.
So Waterford riding and marking all the targets but the goalie. Successful clear by East Lyme down the right edge.
Cam Hart got it nicely to Velakis, but mistimed centering pass goes out of bounds, and the Vikings will maintain possession. Young Cooper Alloway, the goalie for
So it looks like a penalty on Holdridge with a slash.
Really?
On the ride.
Waiting to see the time. And there it is. There's the penalty on Holdridge, so he'll have to sit and watch for a minute.
So East Lyme presenting an interesting man up with their main shooter right now on the crease. So interesting to see the setup in terms of the shift of the set to see where James pops out to get his stick free.
And he's being marked right now by Hodge. So Hodge has drawn the assignment of staying with McCoy. Now he lets him go. So they in a nice check. Allows Alloway to clean up. Oh, beautiful interception by the Vikings. Jakubczyk. Now Kaczynski's got it, and he is guarded by Eckert. There's two great game day athletes from soccer and basketball. In front, shot wide from Jakubczyk. So nice job killing off this penalty. East Lyme had some opportunities, but Holdridge will get back on the field here in 5 seconds.
So East Lyme man up just expires now. And now Waterford was attempting to clear the ball man down. And East Lyme did a very nice job marking all the targets. There was no one open.
East Lyme will reset. Sports Doctor, what do you got?
Yeah, I had a chance to eavesdrop in on Gary White talking to his troops coming off the field last time, Casey. And he says, you've got to guard number 11 real tight out there. He says, guard him tight, stay with him, don't give him any room to maneuver.
Yeah, that's Kyle Jacobson. He's making Waterford go. Now in front, Kaczynski.
Waterford's going to wind up going man down again as they are occupying the lacrosse field with 7 people on one end. There's the flag.
East Lyme try to capitalize here.
So this is a new rule in high school lacrosse this year.
Oh, beautiful pass. A goal from Volakis off the feed from Swenson. Nicely done, and the advantage. Volakis, beautifully done.
So the goal during the play on penalty is going to wipe the penalty out. But like I was getting at, they had a play on. So the new rule is it's live until the ball is possessed by the team with the infraction.
It's like the hockey.
So that could have gone 2 minutes right there.
Yeah, it's like the hockey rule. While they have the advantage, which by the way, has always made a ton of sense for me. I don't know how the coaches feel about it, but I think it makes perfect sense.
The only downside in lacrosse is you can't pull your goalie.
That's it. But I love that. You have the advantage, and the other team commits a penalty. It shouldn't hurt your ability to score. It should increase your ability. Face-offs really the only problem so far Waterford has had is East Lyme has been very dominant with Scotty Galbo winning all of them.
He's got a lot of experience. We've been saying his name at the face-off X now for 3 years.
That's right. And there's another Galbo. Got Richie, also the Vikings. Brothers on both sides of the aisle. Jakubczyk's, Galbo's. Kaczynski in front, and a beautiful goal. Rob Swenson on the feed from Alec Kaczynski, and just like that, we're tied at 3.
We're about 7 minutes into the game. We're basically scoring a goal a minute right now.
Well, we saw 13-12 last year, and it calmed down when Brodeur got hot in goal for East Lyme, because we thought last year that in the championship, we thought we might see 21-20 the way that those teams were scoring on each other early. All it takes is obviously, takes a little bit of a hot streak by a goalie or one team to sort of tune up defense. Question I have is, who's more comfortable with this kind of offense? Is Waterford happy in a shootout, or is East Lyme going to change up defensively? That'll be what's interesting. Who makes the first switch?
And right now, no one's even had time to switch.
Galbo, and now Kaczynski. Kaczynski still possessing, trying to find a cross, nothing there. Behind McCoy wants the ball. He's behind the net looking for it. Swenson's making a run. You got to know where Swenson and McCoy are at all times. Swenson now back up top. It goes to Jakubczyk. Jakubczyk looking to get something off, and a beautiful job by Eckert on the weak side. Ball spins out, it's loose. Looks like Waterford's gonna pick it up, and they do. Up ahead, here's a break, space, Lafort, open in front, Lafort shoots and scores! Beautiful goal, Mason Lafort on what amounted to a breakaway, and he puts it away, and the Lancers back on top.
Well, that opportunity at that numbered break started with the great check by Eckhart. Just putting the ball on the ground. That thing squirted around in the ground a little bit. It got shot up to the middle of the field. And Harry Seal picked it up and made a pass within 2 steps because he was getting ready to lose that. He had a trail checker coming on him. So Waterford takes advantage of a ball on the ground and so gets their first odd number break of the game.
And, Lafort that time, not only did he do a nice job with his body positions to get that angle, but then he ran a pretty textbook 2-on-1 where, the goalie had to commit one way or the other, and he ripped it past him. Now, I don't know if you saw that in your backyard, but that means you have a big backyard because there was a lot of ground covered on that play.
We have train tracks back there, too, so you can go a long way.
Another face-off win by Galbo. High in the air and fought for. And out of the pack comes the Lancers. Jacobson. Now Lafort. He'll go and regroup, and out onto the field will come Stringer. As things calm down here, Waterford patient, 3 minutes remaining and 26 seconds remaining on a Viking penalty. Lafort, quick pass. Holdridge rips on a beautiful save by Brodeur.
That was really the first squared-up look Brodeur's had at Holdridge tonight. Very, very well done. Held the near pipe and made Holdridge go far side.
Waterford will reset, and the penalty is killed. McCoy will saunter back on the field for East Lyme. And the Vikings will maintain possession now with Holdridge behind the net. Holdridge looking for a cutter, and it's intercepted by the long stick, East Lyme, Richie Galbo. And just a little bit too strong. And the ball's loose though, dangerous. Scooped up by the Vikings. Matt Velakis already has a goal. Now Swenson behind the net for East Lyme. Eckert checking him. Swenson spins, just wide. I don't know if Alloway got a foot on it or not, but just wide, and the Vikings will maintain possession with McCoy.
Between Swenson and Eckhart, that's a very athletic matchup for both kids. Swenson shows a lot of swerve right there. Eckhart's not an easy kid to evade. He did a nice job getting his stick above GLE.
Yeah, Eckart's he's a great athlete, very physical, and that was a really nice job. Those two are going to be seeing a lot of each other tonight.
Swenson had a couple of goals in this game a year ago that I thought were real momentum kind of goals, where he snuck above GLE with his stick right-handed and put a ball past the Alloway.
Down under a minute and a half remaining here in the first period. 4-3 Waterford. Velakis goes back behind us. Swenson in front. Beautiful pass and an open look and missed. Point blank. Missed opportunity for the Vikings.
Swenson's showing a very nice ability to sort of back up and find a cutter. We've had a couple of cutters get loose that they've just missed on East Lyme. That's going to be something that's going to have to be addressed. Otherwise, that's really not only quality defense, but it's a little demoralizing to a goalie to take a shot that close. There's another feed right in the mouth of the cage.
Waterford clears. That was Hunter. Lisa had a chance right in front, and he shoots, and a goal right in front. Beautifully done. And the Vikings have tied it up at 4 with under a minute remaining in the first period.
East Lyme showing a lot of grit with the ball on the ground right there in the Waterford end. Being relentless and just not giving up.
4-4, what a first period it's been. Back and forth. 4-4. We'll get back to the face-off. Everyone has been won so far by East Lyme. And the work of Scotty Galbo. He has been just a menace so far here in the face-offs. And that's something Waterford had one of the great face-off people in Luther Wade. We saw the advantages that a face-off specialist can provide.
Luther now facing off up at Springfield, one of their many quality face-off kids.
Here's McCoy with a little bit of room. And a beautiful job, tip pass, and Alloway went up, couldn't get it. Now McCoy in front, misses wide right. 21 seconds remaining.
McCoy called for being in the crease, which gives Waterford an automatic possession.
Dangerous pass by Alloway, intercepted by Galbo. We're going to get another whistle. Alloway's very happy about it. East Lyme's not.
So you had interference on the goalie, which gives Waterford a free clear here with about 13 seconds to go in the quarter.
Here comes Holdridge. To his left, Holdridge makes a move inside, rips, and a beautiful save, Brodeur. And that'll take us to the end of the first period. We are all tied at 4. Second quarter coming on the other side. You're watching Game Day live on theday.com.
At The Day, our journalists are in your community, talking with business owners, attending town meetings, analyzing data, talking to government leaders, reporting on the issues that matter most to you. Since 1881, we have been serving our community and will continue to do so 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Never miss a day of news. Enjoy convenient home delivery right to your doorstep, 7 days a week. Subscribe at theday.com/membership.
.44 start of the second period between East Lyme and Waterford, and it's shaping up to be everything that we expected it to be. Casey O'Neill along with the coach Ray Lafort, sports doctor down on the sidelines, as that first period was less physical than I saw these teams, I expected these teams to be. I think the physicality is still to come.
Well, right now it's been up and down. Right now it's been sort of trading possessions. I don't know if they've traded shots. I think the goalie for East Lyme, Brodeur, has had a couple of good looks at Holdridge and has made a couple of nice stops right there. Holdridge had a shot late in the quarter. I haven't seen it yet. Alloway, the Waterford goalie, take a direct shot and turn it back yet. So in terms of goalie momentum, probably Brodeur right now is probably feeling pretty good about himself that he can face a squared up shooter.
Yeah, I mean the one shot, the first real save of the game, made on a clear shot was, Holdridge's not going to get many better looks than that. And Brodeur stood his ground well. The stick's been solid. He hasn't been loose with the stick, so a good start, all things considered. Hard to say that in a 4-4 game, but a good start for the keeper.
And I'll tell you, Brodeur gets the ball out of his stick well in the outlet, so he can produce an odd-numbered break just by a nice shot save and moving the ball quickly. He's shown you that ability already.
So now we talked about Caleb Holdridge earlier on his way to the Coast Guard Academy, and we talked about the quality of lacrosse and how it translates from high school to college. So I asked, is he a college attacker or attack? Does he play attack in college, or does his skill set when he moves up to the next level make him opportunity for something else? Or kids like that?
For my lineup, I'm not always concerned about attack or midi. In the back of my brain, I'm always saying, is he top 6?
Gotcha.
Does he have a spot on the floor? And with that, we're going to melt the talent together. So to me, is he top 6 from the jump? He's certainly pretty fast. And I think the big adjustment for all of the kids aspiring to play college lacrosse is how physical it is and how strong everyone is. Everybody has a strength coach. Everybody's strength training year-round. The body goes from 18 years old to 22 years old. You show up, you might be playing against a 23-year-old kid who's in grad school. It happens. So to me, the strength, that's the next level of college lacrosse. It's on every play. So that's the adjustment.
started to get physical as Hodge was getting beat up, but now there's the long stick, Eckert, for Waterford. He plays it back in the other direction, and Waterford can't get there in time as it sailed over Welch's head. And you can see the message here at the end of the first period from Coach White, turn up the energy.
The energy clears, they turn it up with a gritty ride, causing a turnover after a nice save.
There's Swenson in front, nice check from behind, and there's a penalty.
So this is East Lyme's second look at their man up.
We're going to get a 1-minute penalty on Waterford, and that penalty was on Eckert, and so we'll have one opportunity here. So Eckert's out of the game for a minute. And we see Lafort on the sideline as well. Waterford gonna have to try to kill this penalty in a 4-4 game.
East Lyme starts their man up 1-3-2. And now number 17, James McCoy, is over here on this right wing where generally a left-handed player is.
And they have Swenson behind the net. Always dangerous. Kaczynski. There's a lot of scorers out there right now for the Vikings. McCoy trying to find an angle. And out of nowhere, there it is, the rocket shot from James McCoy. And the Vikings have a 5-4 lead.
And James baited the Waterford defender towards the middle and then rolled back to his strong hand. The impressive thing about the shot was there wasn't a lot of wind up there. That was more a flick of the wrist. In hockey, that was more of a wrist shot than it was a slapper.
Well, as somebody who has not only stood in the face of a James McCoy shot, but turned one away rather easily, actually.
Did you turn it away or did it hit you?
It hit me in the stick.
Okay.
It hit me in the stick. I never saw it. I never saw it. But the thing that impressed me about him was, sure, when he winds up, he can crank it up there into triple digits, but how quickly he can get power, like you said, with that wrist shot. That's exactly right. It comes so quickly out of nowhere. That was a tough one for Alloway. I was in the way. He hit me. He was nice enough to hit me a couple times. I like to say that I sensed it coming.
I guess the next question would be, was there a workman's comp claim filed?
I was robust in my athleticism. I wasn't going to let the kids know how much it hurt. 5-4 Vikings. The energy has turned up here in the second quarter. The crowd can feel it as well. Waterford has to get back here. We've never had a team. We had 1-3-1 lead, but that was it for Waterford. These two teams tend to stay within a goal with each other. So can Waterford tie it, or can East Lyme get that 2-goal lead, that little bit of cushion?
Well, lacrosse tends to be a game of runs as the emotions flow from side to side. And at this point in time, there's been no runs. It's been answer, answer, answer. So Jacobson, right-handed down the alley, shoots wide left of the pipe. That's his first dodge from any depth.
We got a timeout. Waterford on the field here. 5-4. East Lyme on top with 8:44 remaining. So what's the state of play at the Coast Guard Academy right now? I've heard all good things.
So far, a solid season. It's, I think for our group, I think we're right where we thought we'd be. We have won 3 one-goal games. We've lost 2 one-goal games. All of our losses are on Wednesdays. I don't know what that says about Coast Guard. I think Wednesday's probably a pretty long day. Other than that, last year we had the marquee win with Wesleyan. I don't think we've had that to this point in time, but we got plenty of lacrosse left.
Yeah, hey, Ray, I saw you guys play against MIT, and one thing I was impressed with was the constant pressure you put on their goalies. Is that something that you guys worked on a bit in the offseason?
We work on shooting, and we work on getting open. And we have a veteran group on offense, so there's a lot of chemistry. I'll say, too, we have a very athletic team. The team runs well. Obviously, we're an academy, so we're very fit. and we're also physical. So I like where we are heading in. We had a big week this week. We're at Emerson tomorrow night up in Boston, and then we host Babson for our senior day. I've got 15 seniors, and they've all made massive contributions to what we've done at the academy in lacrosse.
The MIT goalie knew the exact angle that of the shots were coming in at as he was trying to make the saves.
He actually told us where to move to produce poor angles.
What's the Cardinal lacrosse situation this year there at Wesleyan?
Oh, we went over there on a Wednesday, and they absolutely wiped us out. They were so ready for us.
After last year, I'm sure.
Yeah, and you know, I guess at some way I'll take solace in the fact that the national champ is pumped up to play us, and that's a good space for us.
It's pretty good. That's a good compliment to you. I know that was such a disappointing loss for them last year. I'm sure that was circled on the calendar for quite a while. Maybe your schedule maker just needs to avoid Wednesdays.
Another feed from Holdridge off a back cut. So it looks like East Lyme here was in a crease slide. So the one slide comes, and then Huda sort of breaks to the back pipe before the second slide could get a stick on him. You know, if East Lyme stays in man for the night, then those kind of feeds are available.
And that's the exact play that Caleb Holdridge talked about in his interview, where what he's keying on, and East Lyme slid, and he saw it and recognized it, and we wondered if it was going to be a game of runs. It remains a game of answers.
It's just trades. But still to this point, Galbo at the faceoff X is producing a lot of advantages for East Lyme.
Yeah, they've had the possession every time. It's been a big start. A lot of pressure on Waterford. Velakis with the ball for the Vikings. Now up top it goes, and East Lyme will reset. There's McCoy. Long stick of Lillis on McCoy. And beautiful feed. Velakis in front. Nice save, Alloway. No, beautifully done. No answer that time. Cam Hart got the loose ball in front. Alloway had no chance. Point blank shot. And Hart puts the Vikings back on top. 6-5.
Another loose ball, gritty goal. As there's been no runs yet, the team that right now is poised to make the run is East Lyme, because they could score and win the next faceoff, where Waterford hasn't been able to do that. So this next goal is a big one for momentum right now, because Waterford doesn't have an answer right now at the X.
No, you're right. East Lyme's had every opportunity. So for Waterford to even this game up, they're going to have to not only overcome the faceoff obstacles that they've had, but then play defense. You're at big advantage for East Lyme. You know, this game has a very unique rhythm, or lack thereof, from what we normally see. As you mentioned, with there are no runs, so it feels almost like a free throw shooting contest. It's like one team has it, then the next team has it.
And you could see now that Cyril is now getting anxious. That was his second face-off violation, where he's basically like a track sprinter coming out of his shoes waiting for the gun, because he knows he's got to get a little jump to get the clamp.
You know, the little ways Galbo can affect the game from the face-off. There's another one, drawing the penalty. Now back out it goes to Hart, who just scored the go-ahead goal for the Vikings. We are 7 minutes away from halftime, 6-5 East Lyme. There's a run in front, point blank, and a tipped. Beautiful shot right in front from Blaine Hart. And a tipped ball, and the Vikings retain. There's McCoy on a run, has a look, and bounces it wide and out of bounds.
The feed down the right alley from Cam Hart back over to his brother was really a smooth play. That's the first time that look back has been part of any set for East Lyme.
I'm going to have to go through the roster, but that's at least 3 sets of brothers on the Vikings. Harts, Galbos, and Jakubczaks. Seems like game day attracts siblings. Oh, there's a big hit. Big hit. Swenson put it on. And that will have the Vikings retain possession. Alloway to the goal was Hart, and Cam Hart, nothing there. Alloway will clear. And here's an opportunity at a breakout for Waterford.
So that was the longest run that we've seen so far of Waterford not having the ball. East Lyme was putting a lot of pressure on them.
Quincy Foran was able to clear it for Waterford, and now they'll have the possession. Rip shot high and long.
And that shot right there is a product of East Lyme's long possession, because that was Holdridge's first touch in about 4 minutes, and the ball was shot out of his stick in a millisecond.
Yeah, he wanted to unload one. He had been, waiting. Oh, beautiful save in front. And East Lyme out-hustles Waterford.
Absolutely. Holdridge thought the ball was already out. He broke stride, and the East Lyme defender does a great job legging him out into the corner.
Oh, nice pass, but it dropped. Can't handle it. Was Mazzulli. And now the physicality, and we're going to get a whistle.
What do we got? Well, everyone's excited now down there, I can tell you that.
Looks like Blaine Hart's coming off. And for Waterford, Hodge is coming off, so we'll see what the penalty was.
Well, Hodge is coming off because he's not on the man-up unit for Waterford.
Still waiting to see who the penalty on East Lyme was. I think it's Hart. Or is it Mazzulli?
Well, Mazzulli took the knee. He's the one. All right, so
Liam Kennedy sprinting on as the long stick for East Lyme, and Waterford will have their first man advantage. Holdridge and Lafort, two leading scorers tonight for Waterford. Cutter, well defended by East Lyme. Lafort, though, maintains possession, has some room. Over to Holdridge, back to Lafort, shot, and a goal! Gorgeous give and go between Caleb Holdridge and Mason Lafort, and just like that, sixes on the board.
a nice feed back and forth to produce a 2-on-1 off that side. Very fast ball movement. East Lyme's defense right there was fronted up. They had a lot of people in the right spot, and it was just all about ball movement, just beating feet.
What I really liked was after Lafort beat Galbo. Galbo slid off, he had the angle, and Lafort beat him and had open space. He immediately saw the 2-on-1, dished it to Holdridge, and by doing that, freed himself up and put himself in good position for that open look.
And that's a little bit of the gravity, because as soon as the ball touched Holdridge's stick, the thing slanted towards him, almost produced a half of a man advantage on the backside. So this is now Waterford's first multiple possession set. Goal, face off, ball goes out of bounds, and now they have their second touch here.
Stringer and Jacobson. Now Lincoln. Stringer for the Lancers. Makes a little bit of a run. Lancers being very deliberate. Much better patience this time.
Waterford's in an open set, so East Lyme has everybody sort of packed in, and you really can't, there's no advantage at this stage.
Lafort makes a run to his left, spins back right, and overshoots Huda. And that'll be a turnover. The Vikings will come the other way.
So he goes down the left wing, and on the rollback, East Lyme does a nice job pressuring him with a double team on the rollback.
Mazzulli back in the ball game for East Lyme. The long stick looks to clear. Nicely done. It goes to Galbo. Galbo will march over midfield, and East Lyme will fall into its offensive set.
So once again, there's going to be no run because they're trading.
Back and forth, back and forth. We've seen the power of McCoy, the marksmanship of Swenson. and a shot wide by Galbo. We've seen the athleticism of Holdridge and the creativity and marksmanship of Lafort. It's been what we expected it to be. The goalies have had their work cut out for them. 6-6 as we near halftime. 3 minutes to go.
East Lyme has had now a couple of strong dodges right-handed down the right alley, and it hasn't drawn an early slide from Waterford. So at this stage, that's something you'd want to keep doing.
McCoy finds a cutting Galbo, and a beautiful goal puts the Vikings back on top, 7-6.
And that's getting at what I was just describing. So Waterford's staying 2-on-2. East Lyme's getting a half a step, and there's no Waterford defender hedging to become the slide. So you get that nice little look back by McCoy to Galbo. They're both quality players. If that's a component that's allowed to exist much longer, that can extend the run for East Lyme.
No pressure now, but this face-off becomes very important for Waterford. You hate to give East Lyme another possession right off of them taking the lead.
So on this near wing, you have East Lyme with Galbo, with Scott's brother Richie. He's on the defensive half. That's opening up fast breaks for East Lyme.
In front, shot, score, beautifully done. Right on cue, Swenson off the feed from Galbo, and the 2-goal lead for the Vikings.
Because Scott Galbo is able to win the clamp, Waterford's trying to counter on the wing by matching hips. So as East Lyme draws their people on the wing towards their goal, it's opening up space for the face-off to go forward very fast.
I mean, yeah, Richie Galbo scooped that one up, had tons of room. Swenson was unmarked, and that was one of the easier goals we have seen tonight. Alloway had no real chance.
Well, Richie Galbo, as he took that ball, skipped the pass to the point and went right back to the left pipe. And an easy dunk right there. It's a 1-on-none.
Up ahead it goes now. Another possession. Velakis has it for the Vikings. 2-goal lead, and what a shock it would be if they could come up with a 3-goal lead here. Velakis in front, and just like that, where's the Waterford defense? The Vikings, there's the run. We were looking for a run. Well, there it is. 9-6 East Lyme.
The third goal that's drawing no slide. So all you've got to do is beat a guy, and you're going to the mouth of the cage, which is what just happened. Not many goalies are going to turn that back time after time. It's 1-on-none. I think Waterford's getting ready to use a timeout.
We're going to get a timeout, absolutely. It was 6-6 what felt like 30 seconds ago, and East Lyme, 3 unanswered goals, 9-6, and the Vikings have found something. I think the Waterford counter to the consistent Galbo face-off wins, and a nice chess match as Gary White matched Waterford's counter well. That's the last couple of face-off wins have resulted in much better looks for East Lyme.
Because of how Waterford's drawing their wings. They're matching hips, and they're going to all of a sudden, you really have, when the ball is won, you're having a 4v3 with a Waterford trailer. And the two wings, yes, they're both 1-for-1, but they're 20 yards away.
Sports Doctor, what do you got?
Yeah, I just came out of that Waterford halftime or timeout huddle, Casey. They talked about marking bodies. You have McCoy, specific defensive assignments. They're letting too many people get loose and get free, getting point-blank shots. Also, they talked about ground balls, winning face-off, and little things, Casey O'Neill.
Well, the ground balls is like those 50-50s, the hustle plays, but face-offs, that's a different ball game. I mean, that's right now, Cyril's just in a bad spot. He's going up against a really good veteran face-off guy in Galbo. And, you know, what can Waterford do? You see that when they've tried to use the wing, it hasn't worked out well for them at all. What's the next step if you want to try to overcome these face-off wins for Galbo?
It starts with a conversation with your face-off kid. And you got to say, can you win the clamp? The kid's going to be honest. Coach, I can't win the clamp. He's quicker than me. That's a thing. At that point, you can say, well, then don't try to win the clamp. Let them pick it up, and then we're going to check them before the ball comes off the ground. So now what you're trying to do there is produce a 50-50 ground ball, which is now the best you can do. But to think that you're just all of a sudden going to miraculously win the clamp when the kid knows, listen, he's faster than me. He has me tonight. Sometimes the face-off is simply rock, paper, scissors. Your move beats my move, but my move beats somebody else. So right now, Waterford's in a spot where they're not going to win that clamp. So you're going to have to go with a little alternate strategy on the edge to try to produce a 50-50 ground ball. East Lyme right now is in high times because they have no pressure. They can just keep winning these clamps.
And I think that's a great point because as much as we like to use platitudes occasionally in sports, it's all about effort. It's all about it. Sometimes the other kid's trying hard too, and sometimes they're more talented or more experienced or more able to do something you're not. It doesn't mean that that Cyril's not going to win his share of face-offs. He might be at a disadvantage against Galbo, and that's important for him to say to coach, I might not be able to win these clamps, so we have to try to go to something different. Maybe it is the 50-50 ground balls and see if they can make some headway that way. Because right now, it's been too easy the last few times down for East Lyme.
I could just tell you, I have a senior face-off kid at Coast Guard. He said to me about a month ago versus Kings Point, pull me. I can't win this. You're going to have to do something else because I don't got it today. I would tell you as his coach, that was very, very empowering for me to make a move, not feel like I'm hurting my kid's feelings, because you could tell him to try harder, but he's giving you all he's got, and you know what? The other kid is too, and you hit that nail on the head.
Yeah, what they say, the other kids are on scholarship too, right? They're all there. They're all there. Effort's not the issue. Sometimes people are better at certain things. I give that kid credit. He wasn't quitting on his team. He was doing the exact opposite. He was being the best teammate he could be, and giving his coach an option. I like that. McCoy now on a run here for East Lyme. He's marked nicely.
So Waterford has taken number 12, defenseman Joe Lillis, off McCoy, and they have now put the junior on McCoy, Ethan Welch. So they're thinking maybe big, but James has shown the ability here to make a pass to an open man.
Yeah, Matt Velakis wide open in front of the net, and just like that, a 4-goal lead. And this is the biggest gap we've seen in this series in a while. And Waterford with 1:12, they've got to do something to respond here. There's 4 unanswered goals. McCoy that time, he's so physical. He's big and strong. He's so hard to check, and he did a beautiful job of finding Velakis in front.
Well, they got the joust going. And to this point, James has done, I believe he's at 3 assists already. He's got 1 goal off the man up, off the rollback. He really, in sixes, is not the threat right now to score. He's shown to be a better threat right now to draw 2 and move it on.
And there's an opportunity for Waterford. There's a ground ball, but it's picked up by Galbo, and we get a whistle. So Waterford will have the possession. First time they've had an offensive set off of a face-off. In front, a little too high for Huda, but good hustle. And the Vikings will have possession.
So another kind of frustration kind of move for Holdridge as he shoots a feed to the back pipe off of an early kind of set. Waterford didn't even have all 6 of their players on the field.
Oh, big hit. Jakubchek, though, evades, rolls to his left. 40 seconds remaining. Another timeout. Sports Doctor. A little wet down on the field right now.
Seconds, you talk about a game of runs. We'll talk to Gary White about that at halftime.
What's the rain doing out now right now?
It's raining. It's coming down. It's drizzling.
Thank you, Al Roker.
We're getting wet.
Would you say that it's a driving rain?
I would say it's a short, spurting sprinkle.
That sounds like something you put on ice cream.
Yes.
38 seconds here in the half. 10-6. Vikings on top. 4 unanswered goals. I mean,
and a good use of a timeout, because
Yes.
now East Lyme's going to get all their people out there that they want to see in this next set. Obviously, Waterford is too, but you can hold the ball now and take a shot with 3 seconds to go in the half and possibly go up by 5.
which would be remarkable considering the back and forth nature of the early stages of this game. I didn't know if we were ever going to see a 2-goal difference. Suddenly 4 unanswered from the Vikings.
Waterford was lucky to win a face-off or 2 early in terms of a ground ball, when the score was 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, and it went to 4s. At that point in time, they have not made that and had that opportunity.
McCoy for East Lyme, under 30 seconds. Kaczynski. Can they get a shot off, a good shot here, and take as much as a 5-goal lead into halftime? That would be remarkable. Jakubchek overshoots Kaczynski. It'll go out of bounds. It'll be Waterford ball. With 7.7 seconds remaining, Waterford should survive and head into the half down just 4.
And Jakubchek actually had Jacobson beat right there on a little jump move.
Ball's loose, and 0.8 seconds remaining here, so that'll do it for the half. And there it is. We are at halftime. 10-6. East Lyme with 4 unanswered goals. And the sports doctor is going to be with East Lyme coach Gary White. Sports doctor.
All right, Coach. 4-goal run here by this team. The game was tied up at 6-6. What was the difference in the last 3 minutes?
I think we got possession of the ball. The face-offs have been huge for us, and so just having possession of the ball and keeping them off offense is doing wonders for us. So our offense is managing the ball. We're seeing each other and putting the ball in the back of the net, and we're going to hopefully do it in the second half.
Ground balls, 50-50 balls and face-off, big in the last couple possessions.
Our wings are doing an outstanding job. Our face-off guys and our wings are doing a fantastic job just getting possession. That's key.
Take a look at the second half, Coach. All right. Casey?
Thank you, sports doctor. 10-6 here at East Lyme. The Vikings on top of the Lancers in the Lax2Live game, sponsored by and in honor of the Brian Dagle Foundation, which is offering healing, hope, and support. And we're going to listen to the PA announcer tell us about the Dagle Foundation.
Our mission is to offer hope and healing for anyone who is grieving the loss of a loved one. But in addition to grief support, and the reason I'm here tonight, is that the Brian Dagle Foundation's mission includes educating our schools and community on suicide prevention and mental health through evidence-based gatekeeper training programs in these Lax2Live games. But why the lacrosse field? And we say, why not? Brian loved the game of lacrosse and being part of the Viking team. He loved working with the team members and supporting each other both on and off the field. Brian was everyone's friend. He was part of a great school and a loving family. Yet he was suffering in silence with depression and anxiety and didn't know how to ask for help or to tell anyone that he was struggling. We didn't know the signs that we do know now. We now know the warning signs. Maybe if we had known, our life certainly would have taken a different path. If you are struggling, we urge you to get the help that you need. Or if you know someone who is struggling, reach out and ask them, are you okay? Be the one to make the difference. Ask them, please, if you are okay. Learn to look for and learn to be the one to make a difference. Help us reduce the stigma surrounding suicide and mental health. Start with this difficult conversation and help us keep this conversation going. Thank you again to East Lyme and Waterford for hosting the Lax2Live game. This is our 5th Lax2Live game at East Lyme High School. You're making a difference on the athletic fields, and you're making a difference in the young adults. For more information, please visit our foundation's website at brianshealinghearts.org and find us on social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter with the hashtag Keep the Conversation Going. Thank you very much for all of your support.
The Brian Dagle Foundation, brianshealinghearts.org. The sports doctor has a familiar face in an unfamiliar role, though. Sports doctor.
Yeah, Casey, he is no stranger, first of all, the game day, and he's no stranger to the Waterford lacrosse program. Athletic director now at Waterford High School, Chris Landry. And, you know, Chris, you're responsible for this Waterford lacrosse program. You started it back in 07. You coached it for 12 years. How difficult is it for you to be here and not out there off to my right?
Well, you know, it is hard to be, you know, here and see everything. But, you know, as I've always said, it's not about me. It's about the kids. And I just love, you know, my family, myself. We just love being a part of this community. I love where I am now. I love being a part of seeing all the games, all the kids. And it's really just about the kids. That's my main thing. I love the kids.
How special was it to see this program grow from the bottom up to a level of success it did achieve with you?
Yeah, you know, going from where we were in 07, coming here, losing 15-1 year after year after year, to where we were in the last, you know, 4, 5, 6 years, was really a credit to our youth program, credit to the players, and to be able to kind of make it a consistent battle and turn into really a classic East Lyme Waterford rivalry, which is just great, and I'm honored to have a small piece of to be a part of that.
Now you have the other side of the fence. You're the AD, and you've got to pick your own replacement. You know, talk about that process for your new coach over there.
Yeah, you know, Scott was available. He has a lot of experience coaching in the ECC. So, you know, trying to find someone with experience in coaching is very difficult in this part of the state. So, you know, we were fortunate when Scott became available.
You know, Waterford's success right now, back-to-back, you know, basketball championships in the state. The baseball team in state championship a couple years ago, very good again this year. The cupboard wasn't left too bare from Dave Souza to you. Your responsibilities now as the AD moving forward with the whole ball of wax.
Yeah, you know, it's one, our athletic program is just great. I mean, from every game, from the fall to, you know, the winter to the spring. I mean, I'm going to a ton of games, and I just love seeing us compete. And I think that's the trademark of Waterford kids, and they compete. And, you know, Dave Souza did an outstanding job kind of preparing me and, you know, preparing putting the program in a good position. And I'm just happy to do my part now and hopefully, you know, continue to enjoy the success.
Well, I've had a chance to talk to you during the games, but right now you seem a little more relaxed than you were last year. So, I mean, you get a chance to enjoy yourself a little bit. So, you know, take the next few months and enjoy the lacrosse, the girls softball, and the baseball, too.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it all. I appreciate it, and I appreciate the game day for really growing the game in the area as well, getting to see such good lacrosse action here. It's 10-6 right now, and I know it's going to be a good game the rest of the way.
Yeah, Casey, from coach to administrator, Chris Landry, one class act for the town of Waterford.
Yeah, he also saved me this year when an angry custodian at Waterford High School didn't want to let me in the back door of the school. I said, Chris knows me, and he looked at me and he said, make sure you check him twice. I said, thanks, Chris, but you let me in the door anyway.
Well, they're thorough. They're thorough over there.
Well, I told her, I said, listen, I wouldn't let anybody that looks like me into the school unnoticed either. 3 minutes and a half here at halftime, 10-6, East Lyme on top. So what's Gary White saying to his group over there right now?
Well, first of all, he's jumping up and down because they're competing real hard for the loose balls in front of the cage. They got 2 of those junk goals, and those are demoralizing to a defense, period, the end. Next he's patting those kids in the back. Face-off, Scott Galbo, his brother on the wing, the far short stick on the wing. They're tying people up. They've produced a real advantage right here. And it's made Waterford's offense a little jumpy. They've had 2 turnovers in the 2 out of the 3 possessions. Most recently have been turnovers forced because they're a little bit jumpy.
Do they have to do anything differently, or is it, guys, keep doing what you're doing?
No, East Lyme's in the driver's seat here. This right now is on Waterford to make an adjustment at the face-off to produce a ground ball. Easier said than done.
So if you're Coach Scott Hicks, welcome to the rivalry, Coach. You saw your 6-6 tie evaporate and 4 goals in the other direction. What are you telling your kids?
You're probably giving some kind of adjustment. You're telling them to keep their head up because they're going to have to plow away at the next goal. It's really not about 4 goals right now. This for Waterford's about the next ground ball and then the next quality shot they get and then the next goal. So they got to be gritty right now to get it to 10-7. It's going to be hard enough. This next face-off right here is big for them.
Yeah, we used to say in baseball, chip away. When you're down a lot, it can become overwhelming, but you chip away. You have to worry about. In basketball, they say you got to score and stop. Right? It's just one possession by possession. So, it starts though in the face-off circle, like you said, with Waterford. Is the adjustment going to be to give up and not even go for? Because if he can't win the clamp, as you said, is that the adjustment that they make? You saw them trying to incorporate their wings. That didn't work out well.
Well, then, because they're not winning the clamp, so Scott Galbo's putting the ball where he wants. When Waterford has taken their wings and put them down to their defensive half, East Lyme's moved theirs opposite, and Scott just takes the ball, clamps it, and spits it out to a wing who's got a one-on-none on the ground ball. So, to me, it's more about tying up the kid facing off than it is now about the wings. They're going to have to let him pick it up and force him to take the ball back towards his goalie, and then they're going to have to ride from there. Or possibly put a long stick at the face-off X. Don't let the kid don't go for the win. Let Scott pick it up and then try to check it out of a stick.
We're taking a look now. It's raining here. What does the rain do to lacrosse? The footing, the stick. What does rain really do to affect lacrosse?
At this point in time, you got synthetic turf and you have no standing water right now. The top of the turf's a little slick, so maybe a cut or two. But really, the offensive players start to get a little bit anxious that their sticks are going to get a little wet. The lacrosse kid would say, my stick is starting to bag out. They're not going to have as much accuracy on the very high velocity shot if it gets really wet. Right now, I don't think this right now has any kind of connotation to the game, with the exception of a kid maybe slipping a little bit. But other than that, we're still everything that the kids would want is still in play.
Now, I don't think we're going to get there based on the forecast, but at what point does weather become an issue for lacrosse in terms of cancellations or suspended play? What point does lacrosse get to that point?
Well, that's the beauty of the game, especially in New England, where every baseball field here is saturated, and if you get a half inch of rain and a half hour before the game around here, the baseball games are tough to pull off. But here, you got turf. Here it's about lightning, and then it's about puddling to an unsafe field, which in these newfangled turf fields, that doesn't happen much. They all have these great drainage systems in. They all have this sand base. The water just leaves. There's no more football game in the mud.
That's right. That's true.
It's gone.
I get it. Now we just got to get them to do that with our baseball fields in New England, or make baseball a fall sport in New England like it should be anyway, and we'll be okay.
I would say this. You already turfed this field. Folks need to raise money and turf those baseball fields. So I'm not so sure you have to do that in high school because their season goes a little longer. I know, I think the Coast Guard baseball team has played every one of their games on turf with the exception of 2 as they're back now from spring break.
An early win of the face-off, but a nice job of checking, a little fancy footwork from Jacobson of Lancers, and a huge hit by McCoy. McCoy legally just drops Jacobson.
Well, Jacobson was trying to do a whole lot on his own, and he was able to evade 2, and Mr. McCoy, number 17, became the 3rd, and that is called the brick wall.
McCoy now looking for a cutter in front, finds him, and point blank, Swenson. And somehow it looks like Alloway was able to get a piece of it. Whistle on the field. It'll remain in Viking ball.
I would say to this point that was Cooper Alloway's best save. That was point blank. East Lyme's not going to get a better shot than that.
And there's another great save by Alloway on the high fastball by McCoy. Alloway with the glove save, and out of the pack, Waterford will transition. First time they've had this opportunity in what feels like quite a long time. Lafort will have possession, and Waterford will switch in at specials.
Including the halftime, it's probably 20-plus minutes since Waterford's had their last possession. A good long one here, producing a few quality shots or one great shot is really what they need.
In front, Cutter. Nice defense by the Vikings. And Brodeur clears. Intercepted. In front, Holdridge looking for some space. Triple teamed. Finds in front. Cutter. Goal, Huda!
That little rally there started with Kyle Jacobson's interception of the clearing ball. Moving the ball to Holdridge. Holdridge evading about 3 players and having that good vision. Finding Huda on the doorstep.
I love that Holdridge took the hits of 3 guys, kept possession, and knew that if there's 3 guys hitting me, someone's available. And he found the right guy, and he found Huda.
And really the whole rally started with a point-blank save from the Waterford goalie. It was another very nice feed from James to a Cutter going down the left pipe.
Now that McCoy fastball, we saw it earlier. It's quick and it's accurate, and that was a really good, strong stick from Alloway. Galbo with a little bit of a loose pass, but McCoy loses it. It's on the turf. Waterford has a chance, but McCoy recovers for East Lyme. That's a missed opportunity for Waterford. Oh, what a collision!
Oh, so McCoy basically got short, called for the ward. Well, Cyril basically just took a charge from LeBron James and got the call his way.
That is a highlight you will see, by the way, repeatedly on game day, and now we've got a flag. And they're going to call Caleb Holdridge. Holdridge with a 30-second penalty, and Huda with a 1-minute penalty. Walk us through what this does to Waterford.
I'm thinking they called Holdridge on the offsides, attempting to check McCoy on the clear, because I didn't get a signal from the ref. And then I'm thinking that they called Huda. I'm thinking that he may have said something to the ref about the offsides for Holdridge. So the Huda penalty is locked in. So this right here could get ugly.
Big penalty. East Lyme with an opportunity to get that goal back they just lost. Swenson swings. Behind the net. Velakis back up top. McCoy rips, and a strong stick save made by Alloway. In transition it goes. Nice move by Quincy Foreign. Now Holdridge. And missed it high, and it sails out of bounds.
And in a year from now, Holdridge is going to get yelled at by me as he's shooting with no numbers and the ball's not backed up. So now, even though East Lyme, they're still man up, East Lyme has the next possession, and now it goes back to even.
And that was an opportunity to take some of that penalty time off and maintain possession.
So now both teams are back at full strength. Waterford fortunate to kill the double penalty and come away unscathed.
And Quincy Foreign doing a nice job with some playing time. He was banging on McCoy. And there's Foreign now, the sophomore, getting his turn on the senior McCoy.
See, I think this is a great job by Coach White. He is slowing the game down via substitution, and he's taking the air out of it a little bit.
Little double team action as Eckert came to help out. Now in front, Lisa. East Lyme being very methodical. Back behind the net it goes Swenson. You hear patience. That's exactly what East Lyme is advocating and exhibiting right now. Velakis with a cut in front. Slips a defender, but Alloway steps in and knocks it down. McCoy retains for East Lyme, and he overshoots Swenson, and a turnover, Waterford ball. Big break that time for the Lancers. Can they get it to 10-8. Chip away at this East Lyme lead. Long stick to long stick. And now
Successful clear. And Waterford now is back to 5 on the court, and here comes the 6, so now we're back to 6s the other way.
Stringer. Lafort. Jacobson. There comes Lafort on a run. Fakes, ducks in. Spins, shoots wide and high.
Whether that was intended or not a bad possession shot as Holdridge can pick up the ball off the end line.
Holdridge. Oh, broke some ankles. Spins, shoots, and scores! Maybe the goal of the game. Caleb Holdridge, the stutter step, got the defender to go down, and then spins and cuts it to 10-8.
And in a year from now, I'd be patting him on the butt there, okay?
Well, again, I see so many parallels with basketball. In what he did the first time was that classic, you got the fast break, so to speak. 3 defenders are back, and you got the guy going 1-on-3. Pull it out, clocks your friend, and that was an ill-advised shot. That time, he was the point guard who showed how he could break ankles and score at the basket, which is a valuable skill. So next year, it's your job to get rid of the first one and more of the second one.
What, you're telling me he can't play for Coast Guard next year? Come on, man. You see that move back there?
At no level did I say that.
Well, he'd be on the field.
Top 6. All you got to do is be top 6 and you're on the field.
Swenson had an opportunity, but Alloway is stepping up his game right now. Last year we mentioned Brodeur got to be the hot goalie. Alloway right now is stepping up for Waterford.
You know, and the weird thing about the goalies is it only takes one save for the confidence to skyrocket. So the doorstep save about 6 minutes ago is the one that gives him second breath.
A nice job, Lafort. Made a bad pass, but recovered and got the ground ball to restabilize things. I think he'd like to have that pass back. He threw an ankle burner, but recovered nicely to pick up the ground ball, and Waterford will now reset on offense. Chip away, chip away. It's been a Waterford Lancer quarter, 2-0 here in the third.
So now East Lyme has made a nice adjustment. They've put Richie Galbo, the long stick, on Jacobson.
Jacobson came
so now
in front.
Jacobson's guarded by a pole. The 3 attack are guarded by the pole.
The officials giving East Lyme the ball. Waterford can't believe it. Huda was back behind the goal. Closest man to that out of bounds, and Waterford's asking why is it East Lyme ball? The officials are going to confer.
Well, the unorthodox shot by Jacobson, the little underhand scoop shot.
And they reversed it.
Can be perceived as a pass. Well, you're going to have to blow back a gasket on that one in a 2-goal game where you're struggling to win the face-offs.
Holdridge makes a move. Oh, and a beautiful save, but Brodeur. Very nifty move and a shot out of nowhere by Holdridge, but standing his ground, Brodeur made a nice save. And now a nice clear in transition for East Lyme. In transition, Velakis. Oh, Alloway stood. What a beautiful save. Went down to 2 knees. What do we got going on down there right now?
So they called Holdridge for yet another penalty? What's the penalty?
He is not happy. They called it for a 1-minute penalty. Frustrations because penalties on him are double duty. 1, you're down a man, and 2, your best player's not on the floor, so on the field.
Right,
so,
you're down the man.
The man, exactly. I like that. Down the man. East Lyme looking to capitalize. Waterford has the last 2 goals. East Lyme still has a 2-goal lead. Kaczynski finds McCoy. I thought he was going to rip, but he went to Swenson.
He showed some patience there. It was a little too high.
Kaczynski with the goal. Beautiful job. Alec Kaczynski off the pipe and into the net.
So James, in the last set of man down, takes the shot from 17. Alloway eats it up.
I hate to cut you off, Coach, but
it's distracting.
The East Lyme sidelines, just too good for words. I'm not exactly sure what I just witnessed. A giant swat of the stick, and we all went down. They all went down to the ground. Please continue, by all means.
Well, I tell you, seeing a bunch of kids competing and having fun's a good thing too, right? High school sports should be the time of your life with your friends, the kids you grew up with. And East Lyme's got such a good youth program. They've all played so much lacrosse together.
Oh, I like the hustle right there by Fayen. And we're going to get a whistle. Huda got crushed. And we're going to get the shove. It'll be a Waterford ball.
So you got a loose ball push from 60 yards away.
Haven't seen that yet. Well, that was because Fayen, who couldn't handle the long transition pass, went to the ground and slapped at it with his stick. Now Holdridge spins. There's a flag. Waterford advantage. Oh! What an acrobatic goal! Huda thought he could score from there. Holdridge to Huda, and the goals keep getting better. 11-9 Vikings.
And that wipes out the man up. So you're back to a face-off with 10 on 10.
Well, this game, I'll tell you what,
Oh, they kept it on. I got it. It was a major.
That's on Mazzulli.
Yep.
Mazzulli, 1 minute. So Waterford now within 2 and the man advantage. Huge opportunity for Waterford. And I'll tell you, if the second period was marked by a run for East Lyme, this third period has been marked by acrobatic, athletic goals from Waterford.
And Waterford going with 2 short sticks on the wing.
Good work.
So now they're stuck with 3 shorties out on defense.
Galbo makes a move on Jacobson, heads up the middle of the field, and he's banged to the ground but maintains possession. And one of the Waterford players lost a stick. Dangerous pass to the middle of the field, intercepted by Galbo. And a nice check coming out of the other way, Waterford.
So this is a 4v3. Holdridge is open.
Fakes, gets inside, beautifully defended, rips, and a save from Brodeur. Waterford will maintain possession.
So East Lyme right now only has on 5 players.
Holdridge made a beautiful pass to Jacobson, but he was hammered as he got a shot off. Now coming transition the other way. Here comes Cam Hart. Cam Hart in front. Swenson, beautiful pass, and a save from Alloway. McCoy right in front, and a one-handed goal from the senior. Beautifully done, and the Vikings capitalize. It's 12-9.
Great players rising to the occasion. James caught the ball in traffic, two-handed, got checked, took his left hand off the stick, does it all with one. Some folks struggle to do it with 2. He made it look pretty cool with
like
one.
I can beat you with one hand off, one hand tied behind my back. I can beat you with one hand off the stick. What I liked about that was the passing, the patience. 3 different kids had open looks, and they distributed trying to get the best look. Alloway made a brilliant save, but McCoy was just too strong, too skilled. 12-9. And for all the work Waterford's done, they've only shaved 1 goal off of this lead.
The best they got it to was 2. Got off the shot, hit the pipe, and right now East Lyme's not looking back.
And there's a rare face-off opportunity for Waterford. Quincy Foreign has it. He gives it up, and Waterford will have the possession. Nice work for the Lancers.
So the sophomore wing player, Foreign, comes up with a big ground ball to stop the East Lyme momentum.
Waterford needs to chop into this thing. Down 3. Patience now. Jacobson. Stringer, Lafort. Lafort heads to the middle. Reverses. Waterford will be patient. Stringer. And Jacobson. Jacobson now with a little bit of an angle. In front, off the pipe. And East Lyme will have the ball.
Tough angle. Jacobson got a lot of the right pipe off that alley dodge, and Waterford unfortunate that the ball bounces all the way out of bounds.
Blaine Hart, very quick, up the middle of the field, in front, point blank save. Galbo had the shot, and Alloway made the body save. 12-9 Vikings with the ball. Alloway is keeping Waterford in this thing.
See, this is the thing I like about East Lyme's game. Now it got slow again. Got the lead, no shot clock in high school lacrosse. Waterford's going to extend. Oh, and he got a trip. So that's going to be on Eckhart on the trip.
12-9, 1:22 remaining. That's going to give East Lyme an advantage for almost the remainder of the period. Gary White calling out what he wants here. Little 6-on-5 action for East Lyme. They'll start with McCoy. McCoy will start the set for the Vikings. Swenson looking for a cutter. Very, very patient. Back behind the net, Velakis.
This is a tough little man upset. If you haven't seen this flat 2-4 produces a lot of little picks, and it outnumbers the defending team 4v3, and when the ball gets swung real quick behind the cage, there's a shot. There's a shot, stick outside right-handed, stick outside left-handed shot. That's the first time that East Lyme's shown that tonight. It's a slippery little set.
There's McCoy. In front. Oh, missed opportunity on the shot by Hart, out of bounds. And Waterford will be there, and they'll have possession, and that'll do enough. They're about 20 seconds away from being able to kill the penalty. Loose ball, East Lyme with a steal. Velakis. Galbo.
Comes a heater.
And a zipped shot goes wide from Jakubczyk.
All with the errant pass to start to clear.
Waterford can clear here, they'll kill the penalty. Middle run from Jacobson, that'll be enough to clear the penalty.
No numbers. Waterford's got to get their people on the court.
Jacobson all the way, he's going to continue on. In front, not much on that shot, probably ill-advised.
Well, it's going to lead to a shot for East Lyme.
A turnover perhaps, ball's loose. East Lyme scoops, but we're under 10 seconds. Still loose. Waterford comes up with it. Will they know how much time is on the clock? There's Holdridge, 2, 1. He's not aware of the time, and we're at the end of the third period. And Waterford, with all that effort, manages to shave but 1 goal off of the score. And with fourth quarter action coming, it's the Vikings 12, the Lancers 9.
with the crowd that's into it now.
The Day strives to cover stories our readers care about. With a feature called Curious CT, we make it easier for you to tell us what you want to know about the people, places, and issues in southeastern Connecticut. You submit a question, readers vote, and we investigate and report. Go to theday.com/CuriousCT for more details. You ask, you vote, we investigate.
Waterford in the huddle trying to figure out what they can do. Down 3 goals with but a period left to play. You're watching Game Day live on theday.com. Casey O'Neill and the coach Ray Laforte, the sports doctor, is down in the East Lyme huddle right now. He's going to have a little insight into what Coach Gary White is talking about down there. But Waterford, for all the confidence, all the hype, and for the early trading back and forth, saw themselves 4 goals down after a run from East Lyme. And the energy went up for Waterford, but they just couldn't chip away more than that 1 goal. Sports Doctor, you were down in the East Lyme huddle. What'd you hear?
Coach Gary White is telling them to stay aggressive on offense, work the backside of the pipe, and get good shots. As far as defensively goes, Casey, mark your man, know where 21, know where 11 is, and play sound lacrosse.
Good advice from a coach. Stop those targets. He's already got those 2 targets marked with his better poles. They're doing a nice job. Jacobson's starting to get a little frustrated going down the right alley and jumping inside. He's taking some checks in there. Big face-off coming up. Waterford again is now marking their wings to their offensive half. This thing's wide open going forward right now for Galbo.
Nice job by Galbo. Ground ball picked up by East Lyme. And we're going to get a push on East Lyme. It'll be Waterford ball. You can hear that all the way up here. White push, white push.
Very generous.
Quick transition now. Jacobson and Holdridge will operate on high. We haven't seen him operate a lot from up this part. He's been behind the net a lot. So a little different look for Waterford.
So Waterford right now is not getting any offense from the 2 players on the field who are being marked by the East Lyme short stick defenders. There's no dodges going there. So it's putting a lot of heat on the Holdridges of the world to score versus all the poles and the slide of the poles.
I don't want to talk about the power of that shot, but he shot it from the middle of the cross field. It went off the goalie and all the way to the top of the backstop on the baseball field, a good 50 yards away.
And people get mad when their car gets hit by a lacrosse ball. You can't park far enough away.
In front, beautiful save, Brotor. Big stop from the East Lyme goalie. And he's going to carry a little bit. Now it goes to the long stick. Liska. Jakubczek.
That was a big clear for East Lyme.
McCoy had a chance at a steal. It's in the air, and Jakubczek with it again. Waterford had a chance, but Huda loses it, and Jakubczek on the run for East Lyme. In front, Velakis. Nice job by Fayen, marking Velakis.
East Lyme's going to slow it up, going to sub slowly. They're back to 6 on the field.
Little run. Vikings behind the net. It goes. In front, McCoy had a chance. It's loose. McCoy picks it up and rolls it just wide. He is so physically strong. He's like a hockey player. Perches himself in front of the net, and he's tough to move out of there.
Well, I mean, he's a D1 lacrosse player for a reason. Like someone doesn't offer you scholarship money because they think you're a schlep. He's fantastic. He's got the big body, and he's got a high IQ. He does a lot of things out there right. not just when he's with the ball in his stick.
You know, you talked earlier tonight about the strength training that goes on at the college level and the difference in the strength. I'm fascinated to see what he looks like in 2 years.
Well, he's going to be going to the weight room every day for 6 days a week, and that's just what they do.
And he's on a big frame, and he's a big frame to begin with. He's going to be a monster. And he just scored a goal. You can't see it from here, but off camera to the right, there's a small lacrosse goal, and he scored in that one. Wrong one, but he scored in the out of bounds lacrosse goal. Nine minutes remaining. Waterford needs to get this ball back. Kaczynski on a run. Nice save Alloway, but East Lyme retains possession. Velakis. And East Lyme will be very, very patient.
Well, East Lyme is doing a good job of slowing it down and dodging at the Waterford short stick defenders, making Waterford defend the dodge.
McCoy back up top, patience again. Now East Lyme will go around the perimeter. Very patient, the Vikings. Content, 3-goal lead, 8 minutes remaining. They're going to make Waterford defend. Nice hit on Swenson by Eckert. Swenson holds on, in front, opportunity. Alloway with a brilliant save on Velakis.
That was as good a save as he had all night.
Plays it back, dangerous in front. But Alloway contains, and he throws it up, and Waterford will have an opportunity here to transition and maybe get an opportunity. Scoring chance here for the Lancers.
With 7+ minutes to go, it's not yet crunch time, but they're going to need to start to producing better shots.
There's a flag. Holdridge got hit in the face.
So they need to produce a great shot off this.
And there it is! On cue, Caleb Holdridge with a sniper shot brings Waterford to within 2, 12-10. Now, I don't want to do any foreshadowing or callbacks, but this is eerily similar to last year's ECC final, which resulted in a 13-12 East Lyme Waterford final. Right now at 12-10, it's very much looking to be in that same conversation.
A year ago, the face-off battle was more 50-50. So I think both ends of the field, Waterford defense, East Lyme offense, Waterford offense, East Lyme defense, pretty evenly matched. Both teams are drawing slides. Both teams move the ball well. Both teams' star players are not at all ball hogs. They're both assist machines as well. The middle of the field is right now where all the pressure lies. So I still think East Lyme, as it's heading down into the last 7 minutes, has the edge because they're going to get this clamp.
And they do.
So even they're facing off man down. Waterford's getting the ball back now because it's on the ground. I would take a timeout here. Take a timeout here.
Oh, we're going to get another penalty. Out of the pack. Jackson Alloway somehow maintains possession. Waterford with an opportunity now. 2 penalties on East Lyme.
So you're producing a free shot, and one of these penalties is going to be, is not going to be a play on.
Holdridge goes low and wide, and the clock will stop. Just under 7 minutes remaining. 25 seconds remaining on the penalty to Mazzulli. And then a 30-second push will send Galbo off.
So East Lyme's down 2.
So 6-2, 6-4 an advantage here for the next 25 seconds.
I would say quite a ground ball by Jackson Alloway, evading an enormous amount of checks.
Yes,
there was a lot of bodies coming at him.
Remarkable. About 20 seconds remaining on the first penalty. Nice rotation in front. Loose ball, knocked away by East Lyme. Waterford will retain, and that's going to be enough on this last run to kill off one of the penalties. Holdridge, there's one penalty off. East Lyme now 6-5. In front, Holdridge rips low and wide right. But Lafort is there behind the net, and Waterford will obtain possession. But both penalties are now done, and it's even strength.
Yep, sixes on both sides.
Lafort, there's another penalty on East Lyme. And who's going to come off this time? 27's coming off. That's Liam Kennedy's going to come off. That's a 2-minute slash, or 1 minute slash rather.
And that brings back in Tucker Mazzulli, who actually marked Holdridge early in the first quarter.
One penalized defender for another. Big penalty minute here for Waterford. Can they capitalize and score a goal? Swinging it around the perimeter. There's a tough pass, too high. That's a bad turnover right there for Waterford. No pressure. No pressure. Got to keep that in bounds. So now Waterford's got to play defense. Keep your head up and go right at it. Got to get the ball back.
Waterford has a numbers advantage here in the ride. If they could turn it back. So they're going to wind up getting it back with about 40 seconds left in the penalty.
Nice job, Huda, Lafort. We're out there banging. Help get that ball back as Swenson couldn't contain. And now Waterford with an opportunity of 30 seconds remaining here. Chance to get back within one. Now they got Lafort up top.
Waterford's certainly doing a lot of walking around for having 25 seconds left on their penalty.
Holdridge back on top. Lafort swings. Stringer. Pass. Beautiful save. Brodeur on the doorstep, denying the Lancers. Now Lafort scoops it. Penalties done. Back to even strength. Holdridge rips a shot. That was a fastball wide. And it'll stay Waterford ball. That's a moxie on it. And how old am I using a term like moxie?
There's not many left using that one.
Lafort has a gap, hits the pipe. Waterford will maintain possession as we're down under 5 minutes.
All these shots are coming early in the action, and Brodeur is fronted up to these. Waterford needs to do a better job of moving the goalie pipe to pipe and taking a shot off a feed.
In front. It's going to be East Lyme ball. There was a chance. Can East Lyme clear? Nice pass into the middle of the field. And a beautiful slip move by Cam Hart. Waterford's going to have to get this ball back. 4:20 remaining. They cannot give up another goal. It's starting to get into what you called crunch time.
Oh, just threw it out of bounds, East Lyme. Uncharacteristic.
Velakis, though, retains. And we're going to get a timeout. East Lyme. That's a good timeout from Gary White.
He was in trouble there. That was a fantastic call. Coach saved his guy.
Velakis never quite could maintain possession. Now, 4 minutes is an eternity. But on the Waterford side, so for East Lyme, it feels probably like 4 minutes is forever. On the Waterford side, 4 minutes. How's it feel? What's the urgency you have to have on the Waterford side with 4 minutes remaining?
The whole thing is tilted right now to East Lyme because there's no shot clock here. So this ball is going to wind up in James McCoy's stick as this set unfolds. And they're going to take as long as they need. They might not even play for a shot here. They might play for a stall call from the referees, which would keep them to keep the ball in the restraining box. So I'm not even sure without a shot clock that my team's shooting right now. I don't even know if I want to shoot.
How do you get the ball back legally without giving up a penalty if you're Waterford? What's the approach?
Well, Waterford's going to need to take a chance early in this possession. So the best time to do it is now, to double team the guy with the ball, pull your goalie out of the cage, and mark everyone else. So the other 5 players are marked by the 5 remaining. So you're going to have to pull right now. So the ball's in James's stick right now, and if you want to get it out, you're going to have to double it now because everything's stationary. But Waterford's putting Alloway back in the goal. So James is going to do nothing right now. He's just going to bait people to come play him. Coach White's done a great job. Everyone's in an open set, and this thing's going to be over right here.
That was just too easy. You had that one pegged. I mean, Eckert had no chance. McCoy went around him with the body. They had a one-on-one with Alloway and just beat him. Beat him low right and puts East Lyme back up 3.
And that's produced right there by East Lyme coming out in the open set and Waterford marking everyone one-on-one and being a little extended. He just ran by Eckert. Eckert needed a slide, and all the slides were in the other county.
4 minutes remaining, down 3. It's a tall order for Waterford. They're going to have to win some face-offs if they're going to get this thing back. Got to win a face-off, score a goal, and win another face-off. Can't trade possessions. We're going to get a whistle.
That's a hold there by Galbo.
Here's an outside pass. Holdridge makes a move to the goal, spins back around, whips off a shot, and scores. Caleb Holdridge, wow!
So the little right-handed dodge, whirls back to his left. More similar to the goal James McCoy scored earlier in the game, going to his weak hand and rolling back to his strong hand.
Well, there was the first part, the goal. Now we move back to the faceoff. Can Waterford win another faceoff, maintain possession, and have another chance?
Well, they won the last one with the technical hold call by the ref. They wouldn't mind that again. All Galbo has to do here is get the clamp.
Yeah, he's been so good all night long, has Scotty Galbo. A traveling call.
False start.
False start. So it is, all right, good, same as the football call for that. Between like 3 sports worth of knowledge, I have half the lacrosse terms down.
Well, there's a lot of basketball and a lot of hockey here.
Kaczynski will go up to the top. Now East Lyme gets to go into that nice deliberate pace.
So they're back to the open set again, which is forcing Waterford to be an adjacent kind of slide. Here's the switch to McCoy, and he's just going to take his time.
Had a chance at Swenson, but it's loose in front. Scooped up by Kaczynski. There's a missed chance for Waterford. Waterford going to have to do a little pressure now. But Kaczynski so good in the open field. Under 3 minutes now.
Fane's going to have to be very aggressive here. All the poles are going to have to take chances at a check now.
Hart back up top.
I think that's great offense, how he just kicked it back out.
Blaine Hart wisely back to Kaczynski, and all that you're losing right now is valuable time if you're Waterford.
You know, you could see a lot of things that are coached. And for the East Lyme attacker to take the ball in as deep as he did and then to kick it all the way back out to make this take a lot longer is really, really, really impressive. It's been drilled.
Missed shot. Waterford has the ball. Back plays to Alloway. Can they clear? Eckert and a timeout Waterford. 2 minutes remaining. If they can score on this possession, Coach, and cut it to 1, that will certainly tighten the hands around East Lyme's throat a little bit as far as the air starts to get a little thin.
The timeout by Coach Hicks, although trying to get the ball out of Eckert's stick on the clear, also allows East Lyme to get fresh sets of kids out there. So it's a little bit, it's a back and forth. Do you call the timeout or you let the thing go? Sometimes if the ball's getting ready to get into the stick of my best player, man, I try to let it go, but it's hard to see. You don't have as good a vision as I have up here. Eckhart was getting ready to deliver that ball to Holdridge right there, and you had number 10 on East Lyme. You had Blaine Hart stuck out there on D, and now he's going to get off the field now. You're going to get a fresh defender for his space. So interesting. You got one timeout left for Waterford, one timeout left right now for East Lyme. I'll say this. This is a fun game to watch. It's a fun game to watch. You have a couple of marquee players playing very well, elevating the play of their teammates. You have two goalies who have made their share of saves.
Yes, they have.
And that's cool. And both of those goalies are throwing energy back into their team.
For Coach Hicks, I think the timeout is going to serve one purpose, which is he's going to have a set piece of what he wants to run here to guarantee them a shot. I can't imagine that it's not going to be Holdridge, Lafort, or Huda that doesn't have the ball. It's going to start. It's got to start with Holdridge. Get the ball in his stick, and then they've had success with both him ripping shots, but also with Lafort and Huda.
So Holdridge is going to get this whole alley right now. He's going against a righty, so he's going to have to blow past him.
An impossible angle, misses wide, but it'll retain for Waterford.
Backed up, they had Huda in the right spot.
Now they'll use Holdridge from behind the net.
With no pick. He's going to spin back to his strong hand.
Just one-on-one in front. Ripped shot, and a goal scored, beautifully done, Peter Lincoln, and the Lancers are within one. What's that score? 13-12.
So wound up being a great timeout for Coach Hicks. And that's really the first offense that the Waterford team has gotten from somebody guarded by a short stick defender. Holdridge drew the slide. Lincoln's player had to step in, and Holdridge has the vision to get the ball to Lincoln, who took his first shot of the night, by the way.
Last year, this was the final. After losing by 2 goals 3 times and 3 goals once, Waterford got to within a goal. They have yet to get over the hump against East Lyme. It's 13-12 with 1:40 remaining, and the face-off.
So on this side, you have Jacobson and Mazzulli on the wing. Big ground ball by East Lyme.
Jakubczyk that time, great job, still has it. And a timeout East Lyme with 1:21. That was anybody's ball right on the middle of the field, and Jakubczyk picked it up for the Vikings.
So East Lyme uses the last timeout wisely. Coach White's going to get his set of 6. They'll probably be back in the same open set. You'll probably see James McCoy pick the ball up in the same space he did last time when he scored the 13th goal.
So the question is, and I like your idea. I don't think anybody can handle him one-on-one. It's not fair to anyone, even as good as Eckert is with a long stick. I don't think it's fair. I think you got to do what you mentioned before. I think you got to jump him with 2 and try to get the ball out of his stick immediately and hope for the best. You got a minute 20.
You have no choice here. Whoever picks this ball up off the inbound here is going to need to be doubled by 2 poles. The 2 short stick defenders that are out there are going to have to face guard their player. The goalie's going to have to wind up taking the closest player to the cage. And he might have to switch a couple of times with his adjacent pole. Because once there's double by 2, you got 2 poles left. There are 3 people left to be guarded by a goalie and 2 poles. So you should see an open cage right here from Waterford.
Now, how much do you work on these kinds of game situations in your practices?
Preseason.
And then it's just knowing what to do.
Yeah, it's stuff you do in the gym. You get a blizzard, you can't get outside, you got to cover it. Coach Dion, Coast Guard calls it clamp. right now James isn't doubled. So this is a tough one. I'm waiting to see when he's going to be doubled. So he's got a short stick defender on him.
Yeah, Hodge is on him.
This ball's not coming out of his stick. He's not going to move.
One-on-one with Hodge. Now Hodge is checking. And a whistle, Waterford ball. What's that all about?
James stepped out of the restraining box. I don't think he knew that he was in a scenario that he had to keep the ball in the restraining box. So Waterford catches an enormous break. If they can clear the ball now, you're going to see a timeout.
And there it is, and there's the timeout with 1 minute exactly on the clock. Waterford, improbably. McCoy with a mistake, and I think you're right. I don't think he knew that's what his status was, because he was very nonchalant. He thought he could just hold on to the ball.
Sometimes the obvious isn't stated, and in that last timeout, the obvious was that we need to keep the ball in the box, otherwise we surrender possession. I don't think it was said.
And those are little things, and I mean, those are little things like in basketball. Until Chris Webber famously called a timeout that he didn't have, since then, every timeout is punctuated by, we don't have any more timeouts, so you can't call one. Up till then, I don't know that message was. So we learn, as coaches, we learn as players the things we need to remind our players of. I don't know that McCoy will have to be taught that again. I bet you the next game, where if he's in a situation like this again, in his head, he's going to be wondering, is this a time, where I have to stand?
And sometimes as a coach, it's painful to state the obvious. This is the situation. This needs to be done.
Yeah.
Even in terms of coaching a quarterback in college football, I never anymore say be smart with the ball. I say exactly where the ball needs to go.
Exactly.
Otherwise, there's too much out there that's loose change.
That's right.
So Jacobson picks up this one, and
here comes Holdridge.
East Lyme was trying to shut off.
Wide on the outside of the net. Waterford thought they had the tying goal, but it was the outside of the net. Can East Lyme clear? Dangerous spot, and there's a flag against Waterford. And bowling people over is Cam Hart, the football player. And now it's getting ugly on the field.
So the penalty is the slash on Waterford on the ride. So now Waterford's going to be man down with 30 seconds, and they're forced now to pull the goalie out of the cage and mark everybody. So anybody here who gets beat is going to give up a dunk to end it.
The dreaded empty net in hockey, one of my favorite situations in hockey, watching guys trying to just get that one step so they can get a shot off. So Waterford down a player. Lafort comes off with a minute, and there's only 32 seconds remaining in the game. So he's going to watch this one, and Waterford's going to try to pick him up. Down a man. Can they get one last possession? That's all Waterford wants right now. One more chance, and they're going to have to do it without their two best offensive players on the field.
James is just going to stand there. You got to mark him. You got to put a pole on him, at least get the ball out of his stick. This is done.
There's two penalties on Waterford. One on Lafort, one on Holdridge. They're both going to be out. And no worse place to be right now than the last 32 seconds not being able to be on the field right now. And there's the whistle. And there comes McCoy. Eckert trying to check him from behind. McCoy runs all the way around the back of the net. East Lyme just looking to burn time. Kaczynski and McCoy. McCoy so strong. In front, nice safety catch by Jakubchik. And there's another penalty from Waterford, and then Eckert over the top.
Let's just get a hold of this and end it classy, guys. Everyone all around. Just a lacrosse game.
.6 remaining. I think the officials are going to waive this thing. Game over. 2 more penalties on Waterford, and they're going to end the game. Officials are saying that's it. Wait for the final word from the officials, but yep, that's it. And as if we couldn't have predicted this from the beginning, the scores of the last 6 games between these two teams: 11-9, 10-7, 11-9, 11-9, 13-12, and yes, again, 13-12. All Viking victories. The Dragon lives. The Lancers cannot quite get it done.
Back fourth back. East Lyme at the end does a great job of handling the pressure, does a great job of being composed. A really, really well-coached game by Coach White.
Well, 13-12 final. We're going to get a live shot. Mike DeMauro's down on the field, and we're going to talk with East Lyme. Thrilling victory. I'm going to get a quick hug and a kiss from the very talented Alexis DeLucia, Montville star lacrosse player, and who happens to be, unfortunately, related to me. I'm so sorry for that, honey. Another part that I loved about this, seeing a lot of other local lacrosse kids. This was the game to come to, and both boys and girls from other teams showing up tonight. It was a big crowd tailgating outside, a big crowd here. This is a fun game.
The lacrosse community is a small, tight-knit community. It's not, pro baseball fills 45,000 seat stadiums every night. Lacrosse has an intimate fan base. Kids who know each other, kids who communicate to each other. I mean, the internet's opening up the whole thing. Kids now know each other from other towns. You never did that before.
No.
You'd have to ride your bike 10 miles to meet a kid from the other towns back in the day. So it's a small community, and this might be the marquee game in this region. It's nice. It's nice to have people come out and watch it and scream and shout for it.
Mike DeMauro's going to have winning coach Gary White, as well as East Lyme star James McCoy, as the happy Vikings with their 6th straight victory over Waterford. Mike DeMauro has the winning coach and a very happy senior captain.
Well, all right, Case, thank you. We are here with victorious Coach Gary White and University of Hartford bound James McCoy. Gary, I'm going to start with you. How can you explain never having lost to this team, but the games all seem to come down to one final play, just like this one?
And, Waterford's our rival. They've done a great job with their program the past few years, and again, it's just our desire of our players. We just, again, I've talked to the guys about East Lyme always has the target on our back. I mean, we do pretty good around here, and everybody wants to beat us, and we take pride in that. So again, every game that we play, if it's Waterford this year, it was somebody else a few years back. Again, we get geared up for this, and we understand what the challenge is, and we accept it.
Gary, as crazy as that was at the end, talk about the last maybe 2 or 3 minutes of the first half in which you went from 6-6 to 10-6, I believe. What was the key there?
I think the key was face-offs. I think for us, our Scotty Galbo did an amazing job, and our wings did an amazing job to get possession of the ball. And James and Robbie and Matt did a fantastic job just possessing the ball and getting the ball in the back of the net. So, again, which was a momentum. I think in the end of the game, Waterford picked it up a bit, but we finished it out.
All right, thanks. James, all right, as I asked Coach, you have never lost to this team. So talk about what's going through your head in those wild last 40 seconds, say.
I think I'm just trying to create all the outcomes. I'm trying to come up with a way to stop it because having been in that situation a bunch, I think every game is usually down to the wire. Last year's ECC was down to the wire, so I really felt the same feeling looking at the scoreboard, and you just kind of, I don't know, get the next step, make sure they're not getting the ball. So it's fun. You got a lot of thoughts going on. You're trying not to concentrate on the outside, the energy and stuff like that, but it's definitely a fun time when we get really close in the end.
And what does it mean to you, given, I mean, the rivalry between these two schools, especially in the last 2-3 years, has been great in every sport. What does it mean to you have never lost to them?
It feels pretty good. I sleep pretty good at night knowing that. So it's tough seeing the other guys lose, and the other sports, but it's great knowing that we can hold our own against them. And it's always causes you're always itching for the game when you get there because you know everybody can win it. And it's always, no matter how good, no matter what our records are, no matter who we played, it's always a close one. So
thanks, James. Case, Coach, back to you.
Thanks, Mikey. Vikings 13, Lancers 12, as if we could have written it ahead of time in the Lax2Live game between these two teams, the Brian Dagle Foundation to promote awareness of teen suicide and mental health. And it was everything we thought it would be, Coach. We're going to be back for the ECC boys and girls lacrosse finals, and it wouldn't surprise me if we're going to do this all over again.
I got to tell you, I'm astounded by one more thing. What a nice interview James just gave. Classy, well-spoken, soup to nuts. That was really refreshing. Reflecting on his teammates, reflecting on being fortunate to compete in big games. And I just think that was really refreshing. That was nice to hear.
It's worth taking a moment to note that. You're right, Coach. You know, I think we take for granted, one of the things we take for granted is living in the media-driven world we are today. These kids, it feels like so many of our kids are so polished when we interview them because it's something they see regularly, but some of them are able to be articulate and genuine at the same time, and that was what we saw right there. I mean, he's obviously a very bright young man and articulate, but also very genuine. It wasn't I've been studying my cliches for the purposes of my interviews. That was just a very genuine answer.
There was no canned answer there. That was from the heart.
Yeah, that was well done, which speaks to the maturity and character. And again, I mean, you know, you're going to look at somebody who has it all. Here's a kid who's going to play Division I lacrosse. He's a big strapping kid. He's going to graduate this year, has a good lacrosse future, and to be able to be, you know, that well-spoken to, he's a credit to his school. So good job there. What do you think? A few weeks from now, we're going to do this one all over again?
Yeah, I would think momentum's going to build up to that. I don't know what East Lyme's schedule looks like. I know they really do a good job getting to some of the western side of the state opponents. So sometimes their record is not so, I guess, unscathed. They take some losses, but they do play up. So I don't know what Waterford's schedule looks like, but I think they're a little more ECC driven.
Yeah.
So as this thing goes on, you might see another jump in terms of growth in the East Lyme team the next time you see them, depending on who they play.
Yeah, they've played a good early season schedule, and they're going to continue to do that. We want to avoid these two teams being in the semifinals of the ECC tournament because we really want to get a 7th. Hard to believe, but 6 wins by a total of 7 goals is remarkable. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6 wins, 8 goals total. That's remarkable. And you heard Coach White say it. I mean, it's an improbable thing to beat a team with this many close games, and I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be that competitive again next time. And it seems like I'm asking you this every time these two teams play, which is how does Waterford put it behind them and move forward?
They have to treat it like it's another game. They can't turn it into this gorilla in the room. And sometimes, but that's hard. I'm a 50-year-old guy saying that.
After 6 in a row, it becomes harder and harder.
Yeah. You know, I guess those poor Cubs fans endured, things of similar nature. You know this. They had a shot at the end. You're at a 1-goal game. So as the coach from Waterford, Coach Hicks can sell one more ground ball.
Yeah.
He can sell one more quality shot.
Yeah.
He can sell one more good outlet from the goalie in the clearing game, because you're not trying to rebuild. You're just trying to throw a Band-Aid over one little wart.
I mean, if I'm Coach Hicks, I'm looking at it like, take the face-offs out of it, and we played this team not only evenly, but I think we have the advantage. Their offense, our defense, our offense, their defense. And I think if there's going to be something to work on between now and the next time they play, it's going to start in that face-off circle.
Yeah, just maybe a myriad of strategies, to unleash, at least to make East Lyme adjust. You don't know if anything is going to work. I mean, you're going to have to throw it out there.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to make East Lyme at some level uncomfortable, and have to make them scratch their head a little bit for what they're going to do next with their guys, because they were pretty comfortable tonight.
Yeah. Well, we'll hope to do it again. We will be bringing you baseball action on May 3rd, Friday night. We will be bringing you the ECC girls and boys lacrosse finals. A couple of game day challenges are in the works. And I'm calling you out, Kenny Turner and Sienna Chaponi. I'm not telling you what yet, but we're coming for you. Sports Doctor, Mikey DeMauro, the game day crew, and, of course, the coach, Ray Lafort. We want to say thank you all very much, and have a good evening, everybody.